Hey everybody! Today we're going to talk about shoes, specifically flat pedal mountain bike shoes. There's four things that I'm looking for in a flat pedal mountain bike shoe. Number one, the sole needs to be grippy. I don't want my feet moving around on that pedal when things get rough. Number two, I need a sole that's stiff but not too stiff. I want to be able to put the power down without my foot becoming fatigued, but I also don't want to feel like I've got a 2x4 strapped to the bottom of my foot. I still need good pedal feel. Number three, I need a protective toe box. I need something that's pretty burly up front so that if you smash your foot into a rock or a stump, you're not going to end up with a chipped toenail or a broken toe. I need something that's pretty tough up there to protect my toes. And number four, it's got to be comfortable. I mean, you're going to be wearing these shoes all day long riding your bike, and I don't want something that's going to make my foot go numb or give me blisters or be too hot. Comfort is really important. Now, when I started mountain biking, I moved pretty quickly from toe clips to clipless pedals, as a lot of people do when they start mountain biking. But when I started downhilling, I put flat pedals on my downhill bike. And eventually I moved to flat pedals on all my bikes, including my road bike. I got tired of having multiple pedal shoe combinations. It just made everything easier, and I really liked riding flat pedal shoes. Since I started riding flat pedals, my go-to shoe brand has been 510. Consistently over time, they've made the best flat pedal mountain bike shoes. I started with the 510 Impacts, and then I went to, I think, the Freerider Pros, and then the Freerider Pro Contacts or Freerider Contacts, which was one of my favorite shoes. It had a sole that was completely smooth, that gripped the pedal really well. It was a stiff sole, but not too stiff. It could put good power to the pedals. I really liked that shoe. It was really comfortable. Unfortunately, I had a couple pairs that I had some manufacturing defects on. The sole on a couple of pairs delaminated really early, like before the sole was close to being worn out. And the cushion in the heel cushion would move around in the heel, and it would get really uncomfortable pretty early on in the life of the shoe. So a couple seasons ago, I decided it was time to start looking at some new brands, some different brands of mountain bike shoes. So I'm going to go through a couple of those and tell you what I thought of them and show you what shoes I ended up with. All right, let's call these our control shoes. These I bought in maybe 2011, 2010. They are the 510 Karver Chris Kavorik signature shoes. If you don't know who Chris Kavorik is, he's a downhill racer from like the late 90s, early 2000s. Check him out. He's pretty rad. I really like these shoes. These things are big and burly and hot, but they make your feet feel indestructible. They have an incredibly stiff and protective toe box. No danger of broken toes here. They've got this padded ankle cuff, which isn't going to protect you from rolling your ankle, but it is going to protect your ankle if you crash and your feet are flailing around. So what's the downside to these shoes? Well, they're big, they're heavy, and they're hot. And they're ugly. Real ugly. The sole is stiff, but it feels like you're riding with a piece of wood strapped to your foot. There's no pedal feel at all. These days I use these shoes as my winter riding shoes when it's over 10 degrees. But for everyday riding shoes, we can do better. These are the Leatt DBX 3.0s. I bought them in 2020 and rode them for the entire 2020 season. In terms of stiffness, these shoes have a great sole. It's the perfect blend of stiff but not too stiff with good pedal feel. I really felt like they were a comfortable shoe to pedal in. I did notice that I would slip a pedal occasionally, often in technical climbs. So, good grip, but not great. I would also rate them pretty highly in terms of foot protection. They've got a nice toe box. They've got this ankle pad that, again, isn't going to protect your ankle from rolling, but if you fall and flail, they're going to protect it from hitting something. So I felt secure in these shoes. They felt like they were protecting my feet. My main complaint about these shoes was the durability. I only rode these shoes for one season and I felt like they got pretty torn up. You can see the uppers are starting to pull away from the soles, and this right shoe just got completely torn up. So while they were a pretty good shoe, I would have expected them to last longer. These are the CrankBrothers Stamp Boa shoes. I was very excited about these shoes and I ordered them as soon as they were announced. I was particularly drawn to this Boa tensioning system. The idea is you have these wires that can be tensioned by this dial, and the appeal to me was to not have laces that are going to come loose and to have an even tensioning around the entire shoe. And I've always really admired CrankBrothers' design and attention to detail. These are very well made shoes. They seem like they would hold up for a long time. I was really pleased with the construction. And they were comfortable. They are a hair too small for me. These are 10.5. That's what I normally wear. They're a hair too small. If I was going to buy them again, I would go up a size. So far, these shoes sound pretty good. But when it comes to pedal grip, these shoes did not deliver. I feel like I slipped a pedal more in these shoes than any other shoe I've worn in the last couple of years. CrankBrothers has said that these shoes are optimized to work with their stamped flat pedals. I didn't have a set to test them with, but the grip was pretty disappointing with my DMR vaults. Finally, we have the 510 Trailcross high tops. Now, I did not buy these shoes to be my primary riding shoes. I bought them because I was looking for a light hiking shoe. And I thought that these would be, I thought if I'm going to buy a hiking shoe, I might as well get one that I can ride into. Because this shoe looks like it's based on the Adidas Trailcross trail running shoe, I did not have high hopes for it as a riding shoe. It looked to me like it was going to be too soft, that it wasn't going to be protective enough for hard riding. But it turns out that it's burly in all the right ways. It's not heavy, it breathes well, but it's got a reinforced toe box that feels like it would protect your toes. It's got nice padded ankles. The sole has almost the perfect stiffness for me. It's got a little more flex at the ball of the foot than I would like, but overall really good. The laces stay tied and you've got a nice lace keeper on the tongue. This ankle cuff keeps pine needles and rocks and dirt from getting in your shoe, which is a nice feature. It does take two hands to put on this shoe. That cuff is kind of tight, but it feels good once it's on. The ankle protection is also nice. It's not super thick, it doesn't get in the way, and it's not going to protect you from a rolled ankle, but it is going to protect your ankle bone if you crash and flail around in a rock garden. Thank you for joining me today as we took a little trip back in time to look at the shoes I've worn over the years. So what shoes do you think I ended up with? I'm sure you've probably already guessed. And you're right. It was the 510 Trailcross high tops. It really came down to grip and pedal feel. These shoes are the grippiest shoes I've ridden in a while, and I'm really happy with them. You know, I rode those CrankBrothers and Leatt shoes, especially the CrankBrothers, over the last few seasons, and was slipping pedals so much that I started to think that my technique was bad, that I was regressing, and that maybe it was time to go back to clipless pedals. And while I may try clipless pedals again in the future, I'm kind of intrigued by the thought of doing that. But right now with these new 510s, I'm really enjoying my flat pedals again. So thanks for joining me today. Let me know what shoes you're wearing or what shoes you think I need to try. Thanks for watching.